All right, guys. So we're gonna be watching this video, and it could get a little sad in this video, but this is just the dark side of the industry that I think every man should keep in mind, and also every woman should keep in mind. We all find pleasure in these things, but at the same time, behind the veil, it could get really dark, and it's no re there's a reason why a lot of these models self-delete. Like this industry has the highest propensity of self-deletion in almost any industry, and it's usually by women. So
Presenting? What kind of personalities are you dealing with?
So, as far as the women were concerned, most of them were very young. They're coming into the industry 18, 19, 20, 18 to 25 years old generally. Very rare that you get a model coming in after that. And probably for good reason, because that's when their frontal cortex and their brain develops and they they make better decisions.
which usually means that they regret it
But most
eventually.
models who enter that business come from rough backgrounds typically. There are certain stereotypes about the industry that are absolutely true, and the models that participate in it. And one of those things is that almost all models in the industry have they come from broken homes most of the time. Or it's always something with the father. This is very stereotypical, the stereotypical, like, daddy issues kind of thing. Very, almost all of them. You will almost never meet an adult film star who had a loving and present father and, a great family and whatever. And even a lot of times when they tell you
It's a
that,
lie.
it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's a lie. Look, they'll lie. The ones that say that they had a good family, they do it because they don't want to. It's like a black guy eating chicken wing in public, right? They want to do it in private, right? Because it's kind of like, of course, I would be doing that. Um, and and they'll lie about it. But the truth is that it's very rare for you to encounter a woman who was a who's in a porn industry and she had a good family. It's very rare. I tell guys this, and this I even tell women this, guys. I believe in discriminating. I truly believe in that. If you were raised with a bad father or an absent father, I prefer to date a woman who had a great relationship with her dad. It's just how that works. I don't want to date a woman if she tells me that her family life is chaotic. I'm not gonna want to date you. I'm just not, because that spells so much trouble. It always spells trouble. Almost always. It's hard to tell the personality of a person, but you could almost tell who a person is by the quality of family they were raised in. And usually it's by how chaotic the family is. I'm sorry, like I really do believe that. And if you were like, oh, you're discriminating, okay, I would love to see. We could point out each woman. She had a tough family. Okay, let's point out 100 women with tough families and 100 women with good families, and you'll tell me which one do you think has the most escorts? Which one do you think has the most OnlyFans? Which one do you think cheats more? Which one do you like? Come on, man. Like it's just how that works. Broken families produce broken people.
There's something there usually. Or they were subject. So there's always a father issue, and or they were always they were subject to some kind of abuse, whether that's sexual, physical, whatever it is. Almost always.
Almost always,
And
bro.
it's funny. This is bringing to mind. Even the ones that tell you that they weren't. A lot of times it's just because they're not in a place to understand that that's what
That's not
that's
what it
what
was.
happened to them.
Yeah, and also, it's funny. 18 years old. It's not even old enough to remember abuse. I mean, that's the part that people don't understand. Sometimes people recall abuse after 25 because in their brain, the abuse didn't seem like abuse. A woman could have dated as a 13-year-old, a 25-year-old guy. And in her mind, she just dated an older guy. She was mature. It's only after in her late 20s and 30s, she could say, holy shit, wait a minute, I was abused. I was taken advantage of. So you could ask her if you've been abused, and she'll say no. But listen, don't go off of their words. Look at their behavior. Look at their family dynamics. Was their father there? This is why abusers will go after women without fathers, because usually they're the most mendable. They're the most traumatized. An absent father, I'd say absent fathers is a source of the porn industry. Let's just put it that way, bro. You know, if a guy is dating a freak, say thank you to their absent fathers. And I'll be honest with you, man. Just look, if you want to know whether or not someone's going to be a freak, look at their father dynamic. If their father's not there, you could almost rest assured they got the gluckety gluck.
So, in sort of prepping for this talking to you, I went back and looked at some of the adult film stars that you've interviewed, which are not a lot, but there was a few. And you interviewed this one girl who's a porn star and an OnlyFans girl, and you asked her that question: was there any abuse in your life? And she said, no, I never had any abuse when I was a kid. My family was great and this and that. And then in the very next sentence, she went on to tell you about how when she was underage, she used to go on webcam sites, Omegle or whatever, not porn sites necessarily, but just webcam chat sites, and speak to older men who would then get her to take her clothes off. And so she's going from telling you that she had no abuse when she was a kid.
That's crazy.
To then describing taking her clothes off for older men online when she was underage.
And this is why it's because abuse causes a lack of self-awareness. Understand the frontal cortex is the source of self-awareness. It's the source of your self-awareness, your self-consciousness. And what happens is that the amygdala gets so overactive that it literally overrides the frontal cortex. It overtakes it, and your capacity to think irrationally just goes out the window.
And it's like, well, what do you think that is? You know, and so in her mind, she says, no, I've never experienced any sort of abuse like that. But that's what that is. If you're an underage girl online who is being solicited by older men to take your clothes off, that's abuse.
That's abuse, bro.
And whether you consciously understand that or not is another thing.
And often they had abuse that they've blocked out or don't remember,
right,
or whatever.
Reminds me.
Yeah, again, it becomes blocked out because you misinterpret it, because you don't know any better. You misinterpret the abuse. So you see it as an event, just like maybe you jumped off a cliff when you were a kid and you survived, or somebody touched you. So you sort of, and the more explicit it was, the more you rationalize it. And the more traumatic it was, the more you block it. But then something happens when you reach a certain age that your brain matures, but matures and not in a way like it functions better, but it matures because now you can't suppress those feelings and those thoughts. And they arise to your consciousness. And it gets worse after that.
There's a Carl Jung quote. He says, until the unconscious is made conscious, it'll direct your life and you'll think it's fate.
But at that point, once it becomes conscious, after many years of it controlling you, you have already developed addictive patterns that you can't break anymore. You find yourself imprisoned in a place that you didn't know you were in. You thought you were walking around and roaming free about the earth, but in reality, you were in a prison. And you put yourself there without knowing it.
Okay, so there's a lot of those sorts of situations.
Yep.
So yeah, I would say that many of these girls are coming from backgrounds that are pretty rough. Drug issues in the family issues, father left them. Almost always it's a father issue, almost always.
I mean, this is why here in Mexico, you see a pandemic of escorts because of just lack of fathers. I mean, a lot of men, there's a problem with alcoholism here. And when you have a bunch of alcoholic fathers, there's a lot of absent fathers. And when there's a lot of absent fathers, it creates a bunch of freaks. Like a bunch of freaks just running around. And the issue here is that a lot of them will cheat. So you can find your own freak, yeah, sure, but most likely she will cheat on your ass. And there is a big issue with cheating. That's why so many guys could be so jealous and so because not because the women cheat, but that's part of it. It's just a cheating culture. Now, I'm not gonna say that the United States is not the same. I mean, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to talk shit, you know. But that's just how things are, right? You know, like it's just how it is.
So
And so I'm sure, the adult film industry is notorious for, like, deaths and suicides, drugs, things like that. I'm sure you saw lots of that, right?
and that's the other thing is that almost all of these girls, and again, people are going to say, well, I was in the industry and I'm totally fine or whatever. Okay, I'm not saying 100%, but I'm saying it's common enough that there's definitely a pattern there. A lot of these girls struggle with anxiety, depression,
Drug use,
other mental issues, almost all of them,
almost all of them, consistent.
no matter how much money they make,
Yeah, almost all.
you
Of them.
know.
And a lot, and then it's not just the fact that now it's not just the fact that it creates that, but also now your family alienates you. Look at Khalifa, the Indian girl. I mean, her family don't talk to her. I mean, God forbid one day you wake up to a news that she's gone, but that's a real thing. It's a real fact. You know, like it's just Natasha Nice. Oh, I remember Natasha Nice, Gianna Michaels. Ooh, Gianna Michaels, man. It's a lot of angels out there, right? Um, yeah, that's some crazy stuff. Look, man, we're gonna continue watching this, man. But if you guys want to, I mean, I should upload this. I should upload more of this on my Patreon, man. This is actually really interesting. Anyways, hit the like.